Today, we're going to dive into one of the most competitive spaces in retail, private label grocery essentials. In light of rising living costs, consumers are looking for ways to stretch their cash without compromising on quality. Amazon, the global e-commerce giant, has entered this space with a new line of essentials under the banner as Amazon Saver. The question is, has Amazon cracked the code for affordable yet appealing groceries, or is there room for improvement? In this episode, we'll explore the packaging strategy and overall marketing implications of Amazon's Saver products. Plus, we'll talk about some design watch-outs that could potentially hurt Amazon's ability to connect with consumers on an emotional level. Let's begin by talking about the landscape Amazon's entering with its Saver brand. Private label grocery items have long been associated with affordability, but they've also carried a certain stigma. Historically, consumers have perceived these no-frills products as lower quality compared to branded options, even when, in many cases, the quality can be nearly identical. In a recent shift, private label brands like Asda's Essentials in the UK have begun to reverse this narrative by not only providing value for money, but by also injecting optimism and reassurance into their packs. This shift is vital because it helps eliminate any embarrassment for a consumer that they might feel when opting for the more affordable option. Now, Amazon Saver aims to do something similar, but is it succeeding? There's an image of the Saver packaging line on the podcast, and whilst the intention is clearly to provide a straightforward, no-nonsense design, it feels a bit sterile, and here's why. The bold red dominates the packaging. And whilst this grabs attention, it comes off as somewhat aggressive. The colour doesn't evoke feelings of warmth, trust, or joy, which are key elements in successful grocery branding. This is particularly problematic for private label offerings that already have to overcome the hurdle of being perceived as cheap. The images on the packaging appear to be stock photos with no real personalisation. When consumers buy a product, especially one tied to a lower price point, they need to be reassured that the savings aren't coming at the expense of quality. High quality, unique product photography can tell a story and build trust. The Amazon Saver design, however, feels disconnected from the consumer, offering no real emotional pull. Private label products need to work much harder to compete with established brands. Stripping back the price point doesn't mean stripping back personality. Look at successful examples like Asda Essentials. They've managed to create packaging that feels friendly and optimistic. Amazon Saver, in contrast, feels cold, purely functional, and missing an opportunity to inject some warmth and trustworthiness into the design. This could impact consumer retention, even if the product itself is great. The generic product names like Original Coffee Creamer and Pancake Syrup don't really inspire much confidence. It's as if Amazon is focusing solely on the price point, but that's not enough. Shoppers today want to feel good about their purchases even when they're watching the budgets. They want assurance that despite the lower price, they're still getting something of quality. This brings me on to an important point, the stigma of purchasing private label products. Many consumers, particularly in Western markets, still associate private labels with poverty or inferior quality. And whilst this stigma has been eroding over the past few years, it hasn't disappeared completely. Amazon has a perfect opportunity here to turn the tide by making its private label products not just affordable but aspirational. Consumers want to feel that they're making smart, savvy choices, not just a cheap one. With the right design choices, Amazon could position the Saver line as a smart buy where consumers feel proud of getting something of great value, something convenient and straight to their door, and not embarrassed by choosing a lower cost option. There are a few key areas where Amazon does need to tread carefully to avoid missed opportunities. As we mentioned earlier, personality matters. Amazon should consider adding much more warmth to this design, whether it's through the colour, the photography, or even the messaging. A touch of playfulness or optimism, like on the Asda packs, could go a long way in improving the consumer's emotional connection with the brand. As a private label, Amazon needs to ensure that it builds trust with the consumers from the outset. If a consumer feels like they're compromising on quality, they just simply won't return. The design should work harder to convey quality, even if it's minimalistic. There needs to be a clear message that says you can trust this product. Now, the packaging is clean and straightforward, yes, and that is the trend of the moment, but there's a fine line between minimalist design and underwhelming design. Now, whilst it's tempting to strip everything back, the packaging still needs to do the heavy lifting of attracting the attention and assuring quality in the first place. So let's have a look at some of the best practices they could potentially implement to improve this packaging and overall approach to the strategy of these packs. This Essentials range has found success by adding a sense of honesty and optimism. Asda Essentials, as I said earlier, has found success by adding a sense of honesty and optimism to the packaging. Amazon could take a similar approach by telling a story on the packaging, perhaps emphasizing something they excel at, convenience or straight-to-the-door delivery. Whether it's a tagline or unique photography or even brand iconography that highlight key benefits, narrative design helps build a connection, and it just makes the brand and the products much, much more approachable. The red is bold, but perhaps a bit too aggressive for a grocery line. They should maybe consider colours that evoke warmth and trust. These could create friendlier, more approachable packs. Again, look at Asda and the bright yellow they used. This helps signal to consumers that whilst they're saving money, they're not sacrificing on quality. Consumers need reassurance, especially in times of financial stress, so including messaging that builds confidence can reduce the stigma associated with private label products. So, in conclusion, they're entering a really, really tough market, and the design of their packaging is crucial in influencing how consumers perceive the brand. Whilst it's a good-ish start, there are clear areas or improvements that can be made to better connect with consumers emotionally and encourage repeat purchases. It's not enough to simply offer a low price. Amazon must also convey warmth and quality. By taking inspiration from brands that have done this successfully, Amazon's Saver line could become a smart, more aspirational choice for shoppers, not just the cheaper, also-ran alternative. Well, that's it. That's a wrap, as they say. I hope you found it informative. If it adds value, then please do subscribe. I'm Al, owner and creative director of Slice Design. You can follow me on my LinkedIn page, which is linkedin.com/in/Alan Gilbody, or you can follow us on our company website, which is slicedesign.co.uk. So until next time, have a fantastic week and keep well.